Hey folks, welcome to the Incubation Engineering update on low-code and no-code. I'll share some update on the workflow automation. So let me quickly reiterate on the million-dollar question. Why workflow automation? At GitLab, we automate a total of 130 business rules that carry our day-to-day operations. For example, applying a backlog label to an issue in order to acknowledge the feature requester. We have in fact open source this repo contains all these rules to demonstrate and instructions for the setup, but the customers are telling us there's quite a bit of overhead to set it up and they just want it out of the box. To be honest, we have lots of customers asking for it. One of the most upvoted issues at GitLab is configure label to be removed when an issue is closed. It has attracted 192 upvotes so far. Unfortunately, we haven't closed this gap since we don't want to introduce yet another hard-coded checkbox on the settings page, and we know that we want a more generic and extensible solution. Finally, our competitors like GitHub and Jira have already offered similar capabilities for some time now, and their customers love it. If you'd like to read more about the justification or the product vision, I've linked an excellent summary from Gateweaver, or group or PM from the plan and project management team, in the issue of this update. So let's talk about why taking an MVC approach. To be honest, it's a significant undertaking to build a Zapier equivalent into GitLab, but we have to start from somewhere. One option is to build from the ground up by rolling out an event-driven architecture with event bus, standardized schema, encoding protocols, routing strategy, transformation, rule language, and visual flow builder, while building up the confidence for investing into this more full-fledged architecture. So the question is, do we have a viable MVC to pursue? And the answer is yes. Our Ruby gem, GitLab Triage, has been in service for 5 years, with a rich set of declarative rules and extensibility through the Ruby expression and plugin systems. In my opinion, the gem is a great starting point to bring highly configurable workflow automation to our users today. So let me quickly show a demo from my dev environment. First, create a new project. Now, there are a few steps that I really wanted to eliminate in the final release. Create an access token and name it as automation. Configure this access token in the CI/CD variable. Now, with that configured, let me now create a new workflow. And click on configure pipeline. So now I've got a workflow that is from the template. You can see I'm trying to add a backlog label to a newly created issue. Have a condition when the issue is still open and without any label applied. And I'm gonna add 2 labels, backlog and dev. I'm gonna mention root. Maybe let's change that to mention a more realistic scenario, which is a team. With that, I can just commit the change. And the beauty of this process is that all the changes to the rules are version controlled. I'm ready to create a new issue. You can see almost immediately, as soon as we save the issue, we have these 2 labels applied and the message was according to the template. Let me try to add another rule to remove the label when the issue is closed. So go back to the automation workflow editor. Now let's just maybe hand roll. Just save that. Let's go back to our previous issue and just hit close. You can see immediately the automation remove backlog label, and this is about the demo. There are still some gaps needs to be closed before the productionization. As I mentioned earlier, it would be great if we could remove the manual token configuration steps. We also need to find a way to bring the automation from the project level to the group level, so those rules can be applied to all the projects in the group. The execution is currently based on polling, so it's being inefficient. So we should modify the triage gem in order to process a payload to respond to events. So that shouldn't be too hard. Another concern is the circular execution. So as one update triggers another one indefinitely, we need to find a way to prevent that as well. We need to figure out how to enable users to monitor the workflow execution for debugging purposes, and that is really important. So I'm reusing the CI template editor for editing the workflows, and that components need some generalization. It would be nice to support validation and the test run in the workflow editor too. That's all the updates for this week, and thanks a lot for tuning in.